Let's talk about the book. So once again, I'm getting the book. I'm like, hey, I'll give it a shot, try it out. So over the holidays, I start reading it, and I'm hooked, dude. Like, okay, so I wrote a book for teenagers, how to get teenagers like open up and see their parents differently, right? And I wrote the book simply off of like my experience working with teenagers. When I started reading your book, I'm like, this is research. This is detail. This is so much planning and detail. Put it this way, as an author, if I would just read your book, it was really cool knowing you and reading the book. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. But just reading the book, I tried to take my mind out of actually knowing you, and I thought about it, I'm like, this is really good. It got me hooked. I'm playing with my kids. When they go to sleep, I pick up the book, start reading again, and there's a specific statement that was said in the book that I want to talk, and I think that's going to lead us into some bigger conversation. So please, you just got to break down for us, why writing a book? Because obviously you have a talent. Did you know you had this talent? Was this something you thought you could do?
Yes and no. So in my family, my athletics, people my family supports me in it, but it's not what connects me to my family. It's not like my parents didn't look forward to going to my games like some other parents do. You know what I mean?
She must really hate watching you fight.
My mom has never watched me fight.
Oh, good. Oh, wow.
Can't do it. She'll cry. You know what I mean? And even my dad, my dad is a very intellectual man. He's not like the alpha macho kind of crazy guy. Super hardworking, humble, intelligent, freakishly intelligent man. And so the atmosphere I grew up in was so supportive, but the pressure was in academics, not athletics. So the athletics for me has always been like my passion, but it was my passion, not my family's passion, not something that I was forced into. It was like my reward for doing well in other areas, for getting good grades and things like that. And the one area, like my family, we're all pretty unique personalities, right? My mom and I are both probably pretty stubborn and bullheaded and things like that. And my older brother's super, super intelligent, very religious, traditional Catholic, and super charismatic, fun guy. But man, he draws a line, and he's not a compromising individual. And sometimes that's difficult, right? And my dad is a little bit more shy and quiet and very, very cerebral. And my little sister's kind of that way. And my little brother's just the coolest of everyone. And the one common thread in my family from the time I was 0 till now is books and literature and the written word. And my parents, we came up, if you wanted a toy, you waited till Christmas or your birthday, where you did hella chores until you could earn that or whatever, right? You wanted to play video games, you were going to get an hour on it, and then you got to go outside and things like that. But something that my parents did for us, and I plan on, if I ever having children, doing for my children, is a book was always a yes. You go to Barnes & Noble, Dad, can I get this book? Yeah.
Yes.
Not, that's a little above your reading level, or that's too expensive today, or whatever. It was, are you going to read it? Then yes. And of course, edited for content sometimes, make sure it was age appropriate and things like that. But my dad was always, and we had shelves full of books, and my parents would recommend books for me to read, and
so you never saw it as a chore, you never saw it as a punishment, because working with families, here's so many parents will be like, if you don't do this right, and then now you got to go home and do your homework. I'm like, whoa, that's a wrong. So for you, it's the opposite. It's like that's a constant reward.
Right, and I still credit that. We were taught to read young before we got into school, and we were ahead of the curve because we were so comfortable with reading. When it came to reading textbooks, I knew what the sentence was supposed to look like. I knew what the structure of words were, and I credit that still to this day. My job is to speak.
Yep. And
that's because I was, given the gift of words freely my entire life. And I loved books, and I have an active imagination, and there was this story that developed in my head basically about junior year of high school is when I started to think, you know what? I want to tell a story, not just read other people's stories. And I know people that I can put together and make them characters that would be interesting. And there's this concept, and I have kind of goofy religious views even that I can sort of incorporate, but not in a blasphemous way. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then it became a challenge to myself. Well, can you actually accomplish this? And then it became fun, and then it became annoying, and the whole process was just, you know what, get it done and see what comes of it. And the book came out of it, and now my good friend is reading it, and my parents were the first to read it.
That must have been a proud moment, huh?
That's
That's
so
I
cool.
hope so. But
they didn't say anything after
well,
that?
yeah, but we're not like that kind of overly expressive family, Like my dad, definitely. I'm sure the words "I'm very proud of you."
Yeah.
But like being able to say, "Hey, here's 600 pages that came out of my brain because you gave me books when I was young." Maybe I didn't do enough.
Yeah, I was going to
Maybe I didn't
say.
do a good enough job of expressing to them that like that's because of you that I was able to do that.
Well, I think you just did.
I hope